session, and then I'm going to get straight to Jaden. He's actually going to do a presentation. I'm going to give him a big round of applause. He's a Year 9 student from Northern Marietta High School, and he's doing some fantastic work with these ARKObots business, can I call it? Yeah. Platform, STEM entrepreneurial project, all those fantastic things. And so I'll get Jaden now if you want to come up and present your...
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Jaden Stradwick and I love combat robots. Today I'm here to talk to you about how I've incorporated combat robots into STEM education. There are lots of different options out there to try to educate students, but the difference with combat robots is it allows the student to have their own path and their own user experience. This is my experience with robotics, as you have to, the end goal of combat, but through that you have to build, you have to design, you have to repair. There are clearly a lot of well-respected educators out there, including some who are in this room, who understand the importance of robotics in STEM education. And this first quote highlights that. Yet there are areas of robotics that are not often seen in schools, and combat robots are one of them. Before I talk about combat robots and the work I've been doing, I'll let you have a little information on me. So I've been designing combat robots since around 2016, and through that I've won many awards and participated in many events. I have been featured on BTN and The Advertiser for combat robots, and have developed advanced STEM skills in robotics. I'm a student at Northern Marietta High School, and through my STEM skills, I've assisted in the engineering of STEMmies projects with the use of electronics and CAD, and I'm currently developing STEMpreneur business for combat robots and education kits. So what are combat robots? So combat robots are remote-controlled robots that enter an arena. The first one to cease operation or stop moving loses, and they have 3 minutes to fight. They have rules for safety and for entertainment, but basically anything else goes. Combat robots started in 1997 with Robot Wars in the UK, which some of you might remember, and became more popular in the US through BattleBots. The advancements and accessibility in technology has allowed them to be more popular for everyone. So let me share with you what I've been doing to bring combat robots to high schools. So Nick Jackson, who's in this room, who's a senior leader for the Weiranda Secondary School, wanted to develop a unit of work with combat robots. He saw as a perfect combination of the digital and physical technology worlds. He also recognized that students like myself have a much deeper understanding and niche of certain robotics. And he wanted to share my knowledge with both students and teachers. The product. So this is Camo. So Camo was the first project I made, and it's designed to incorporate all the electronics for your combat robot into one small PCB. From there you have all your electronics and they start printing your shells, which some of you might have seen and driven over here. The objective of the digital learning course that combines elements of the digital and technology curriculum. To this we've worked together and collaborated to create a high quality resource which allowed the students to understand what they needed to do and give them autonomy of their designs. So multi-model resources. So as a student, I understand lots of students respond to different resources. Some like websites, some like videos. So I decided that it was best to have all kinds. So we have videos instructing them how to use Tinkercad, and we have hands out so that they can read it. So it's all there for them. Class response. So Nick, feedback for the first lesson was very positive. He had a goal of 85% participation rate, which was achieved, and students that traditionally had problems maintaining focus have handed in models and maintained focus. So there's 6 stages of the unit of work. So firstly we introduced the combat robot system, where I talked about how it worked, what parts are involved, or the rules, and then we had the next very crucial step of letting them experience and drive the robots and smash into each other. This allowed them to understand how to drive and what it is, and it's something that they could achieve. From there, we started our design and research, where I gave them common terms like destructive combat robot, and then they searched up giant saws and realized, oh, we can't make this. From there, they started designing and doing on Tinkercad, where they had their base design, which is this blue guy, which there was a tutorial on, simple. and then they design their own, which this student has up there. After 3D printing it, they started soldering and constructing their kit, which there was a video on, and this was actually a very crucial step as it allowed them a hands-on experience. Then the final step of battling, which was very fun, and it was a tournament style, so you started at the bottom and then you worked your way up, and it was actually the second time, so it's an iterative process. So you start with your first design, you see what's wrong with it, you improve from there, and that's the whole point of combat robots. You find small little tweaks like, oh, I need to add this, or my wedge isn't sharp enough. So student response survey. So this survey was before the battles, but near the end. How would you describe this program? With a very high rate of people finding it fun and approachable, but also people understanding that it was intimidating, but interesting. What did you enjoy about the program? They really enjoyed the soldering. That was one thing that I wasn't expecting. They enjoyed the soldering, the hands-on, because in some other subjects you don't get to have that with soldering iron and melting metal, which is good about STEM. What didn't you enjoy? We had a very low negative. There was someone who didn't like getting used to the control of the robots, but it was very low negativity. Would you do this program again? And a very high ratio of students that would be willing to build their own combat robots again, and some saying no, some saying maybe. Okay. The new programmable PCBs for 2020. So as everything, products develop and I find weaknesses and you improve them. So the next step is to design a board which is programmable, and then they can have all the benefits of these current ones plus programming. So you can program it to move a certain distance, or you can program it to have their own custom screen which says I have the best robot and stuff like that. Flipped classroom learning. So in 2020, Northern Marietta High School, my school, looking at the possibility of doing a flipped classroom where I myself would be co-teaching with another one of their digital technology teachers for the implement of combat robots. Benefits for STEM. So like everything, there's lots of benefits, but one of the big things that differentiates me from most other ones is that it allows you to have your own user experience. It allows you to, if you want to design a wedge, you can do that. If you want to design a weapon or an axe, you're allowed to do that. It's all up to you. It's all your way. It's whatever you want to do, you can do. Thank you.
How old are you again, Jaden?
I'm 15.
That is lifelong. That is fantastic. I'm listening to that going, what am I listening? It's not a teacher. I'm not listening to this. He's just so passionate. So it's amazing. So well done, and thank you so much, Gary. Jaden's obviously running session C, which is in the room there, and he's going to take you through a little bit more of the program, a bit more in depth, and bring the board and everything else. So no, that was fantastic. So I might actually have to leave my session and just leave everyone and then come see yours. All right, no, well done. Excellent work.